So it's shortly before 5 o'clock and we have come to the final session of today. Marcel Tobler, COO of the digital businesses of Grand Casino Baden, will discuss the journey of expanding an existing land-based business online. His talk is aptly titled, A Year On from Launch in a Newly Regulated Market. I'm sure you remember Marcel's participation from a year ago, I should say June last year, so that's 13 months ago. Marcel, please let us hear about your experiences.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to be back here in Amsterdam. And yes, it was June last year, 2019, just a couple of days short before the first online casino, legal online casino in Switzerland went live. And man, the world changed since then on a large scale, unfortunately, because of COVID-19. On a smaller scale, fortunately, in Switzerland, we have legal online gaming since roughly 1 year. And I can tell you, it was a crazy year. Many things did not come as we expected. It was challenging, probably every single week since then. And I could explain and talk a lot about it. I could probably talk a whole day, but I just learned that Wilhelm did not approve my 8 hours presentation, so I will shorten it to 20 minutes. We'll try to focus on the main points and make sure we have time for questions so that I hopefully can also answer some things that are in interest of you. Quickly, for myself, I started 2013 at Grand Casino Baden in Switzerland. As a group CFO, I have a background in accountancy and consulting. At that time, we operated 2 land-based casinos, one in Baden, that's 20 minutes west from Zurich, and one small casino in Davos. You may know Davos because of the World Economic Forum. Very early, I started to work on the law for the new online gaming in Switzerland. Since I also have a data background, I started also to prepare Grand Casino Baden for the online world by implementing a loyalty program and so on. So we have a database that we can utilize in the future for online gaming. A very quick recap what I said 1 year ago before we were in online gaming, when we were shortly before launching, and what I have talked about is also available on the YouTube channel of Gaming in Holland. I had 3 main points I talked about. I talked about the long timeline we had until we actually had the law ready for have online gaming in Switzerland. The approval to change the law was in 2007, and then 11 years later, there was the public vote in June 2018, which approved the new law, which is the basis for online gaming in Switzerland. I also talked about our decision process at Grand Casino Baden and how we viewed this new law. For us, it was very clear this is a big one-time opportunity to join the online market, something we were not able to do for the last 20 years. We were 20 years too late to do that. So we put in efforts, money and time to make it right and to do it properly. We also decided not to do 1 online casino. We decided to have 2 online casinos, so we went live with the dual brand strategy. And the third point I talked a lot was about cross-selling. We believe very strong in cross-selling. We do not believe that the online gaming market will take away something from the land-based. We believed already there. It will be the other way around, and the time has proven that actually. I had 3 takeaways from my last presentation. The first takeaway for us, it's very clear, it was very clear, and it also proved the last year, it's a different business. It's called casino. but that's more or less it. It's very different. It needs different approaches in many things, starting with responsible gaming, going through marketing, through the communication with the customers, and somebody needs to drive it, and also make sure that the culture can handle this new kind of business. We discussed at Grand Casino Baden a lot, should we do it by ourselves? Should we work together with a B2C operator who has experience in online gaming? We are here 20 years too late and now enter this new market. And we decided that we want to do it at Grand Casino Baden by ourselves. That it's going to be a hard way. We're going to do a lot of mistakes, but we will learn a lot. And that was actually proven. As I mentioned, we have a dual brand strategy. Casino Davos has its own online casino, and there we work together with a partner from the UK that has a very long experience in the online casino market, and we see very nicely the different. And of course, it helps us also to benchmark our KPIs. And if I compare those two operations, it's not comparable what you learn if you really do it by yourself. If you try handling this market by yourself, you learn way more than if you rely on a B2C partner. My feeling is you're always going to stay as a junior partner. And I said 1 year ago, choose a technology provider that supports your strategy. That's still true, but what we learned and what the last year showed, you also need a technology provider which not only supports your strategy, but your daily business. Every week there is a new request from the regulator, new questions. They learn, we learn. So this is changing all the time, and I don't know how many change requests we put in to our technology provider every week, but there are a couple. And you need to have a partner that is able to handle that. So shortly what happened, we went live with Jackpots.ch, that's the online casino of Grand Casino Baden, on July 5th, 2019. And we were the first legal online casino in Switzerland. And I'm very happy about that because we took the hard way. We decided to develop, or actually to invest in a company to develop our own online casino platform. We invested in the technology company Gamanza, which is also a sponsor of this event, and we knew this is a high-risk strategy. We signed the agreement on January 5th, 2019. There was no platform at that time, and we managed it within 6 months to develop it and to be the first on the market. We overtook all the large platform providers with existing platform, which shows sometimes flexibility is more important than size. Our second casino, Casino777.ch, went then live in September, 9th of September. So since then, 4 casinos were live. Currently, we have in Switzerland 6 online casinos. It's a very hard application and approval process. And probably the biggest surprise is, it's a good surprise. We completely underestimated the GGR in the market generally as an industry, but also as a single operator. With Jackpots.ch, we will do in 2020, the first full financial year, more than 35 million GGR. That's way more than what we have estimated we will be doing in 5 years. Shortly, Gamanza. Gamanza is our technology provider. We hold 50% of Gamanza. We made the decision to invest into technology provider to ensure that we have a technology which is fully supporting our advantages as a land-based operator. You have a lot of advantages as a land-based operator. I showed that a year ago when I explained what are the expected acquisition costs. It's the best acquisition channel, or the cheapest you can imagine, and you need to have a provider which is fully supporting this acquisition channel. By now, 1 year later, I told you we started to develop the platform beginning of 2019. 1 year later, we have additional 4 casinos in Switzerland that signed the platform deal with Gamanza, and by now Gamanza is the clear technology leader in regards to online casino platforms in Switzerland. Also the only platform provider which also provides the mandatory regulatory safe, something similar what is required here in Holland. And we also started to develop our own real-time CRM, because we see a lot of opportunity with features that can be integrated also in terms of responsible gaming. So we thought it's important to have its own CRM fully connected to the platform that went live in May 2020. I put together a few takeaways, actually 5 takeaways from that year that we are live. My first takeaway, of course, I'm an accountant, so my first takeaway is measure, measure, measure. It's a new industry. You're going to do a lot of mistakes. That's fine, as long as you know that the mistake was done, and the mistake is good. You tried something new, and you learned something as long as you have measured it. So measurement is not only a task. In my view, it's a critical part of the culture that needs to be present, that you're successful in online gaming. Online gaming is a lot about trial and error in terms of acquisition, in terms of retention. What really helps us a lot is to define KPIs, operational KPIs for the different departments, which define what we see as quality. It helps a lot to talk with the team, to set targets with the team, and to challenge what was done, if that was successful or not. So I shared here a few operational KPIs that really turned out to be super important the last year, to also have to have the insurance that you improve, that you move forward, that you can look back and check in which direction that you're going. So we have a few KPIs for acquisition, where we have cost per lead. That's what the registration costs you, cost per acquisition, what costs you a first depositor, so a paying customer. The variance between those two shows you how good you are at converting registrations to paying customers. We have brand recognition that we are measuring, so we are also able to try various things in terms of brand marketing. We have obviously retention marketing, a very, very important factor. Acquisition is super expensive. We pay for a paying customer in Switzerland around 250 Swiss francs for each single customer that makes the first deposit, so a few percentage more or less retention rate really makes a difference. Obviously, customer service also pays into retention at the end. There we measure satisfaction rate. If you submit the question, we always ask you, were you happy or were you not happy? We learned that the satisfaction rate for chat support is significant higher, so that allows us to make the decision to offer more chat, for example. And then kind of an overall KPI that is really helpful also if you compare it to the industry. UK has some good data on that, is the Net Promoter Score, a very standardized score. Then the next takeaway is really focus on building up knowledge. It's a new business. As we had in Switzerland, you also have in Holland an unfair advantage, if you want. You have a certain time where the players from the previous time, from the grey market, are not able to play with. And that time needs to be used to build up knowledge, and it is essential that the staff turnover is low during that time. Otherwise, it's impossible to build up this knowledge of this completely new industry. It's different knowledge that was used before in the land-based. One mistake that we did was probably not separate the resources, the management resources to concentrate on the operational improvement and on the strategic improvement. We haven't clearly separated that, and that we should probably have done. We have underestimated what is needed operationally. Again, as I have mentioned, every single day something is popping up that needs management attention. And that leaves sometimes too less time for strategic development, and that's really one big lesson we learned, and we are just actually implementing now, so we have sufficient management capacity on the operational side as on the strategic side. Also one thing we did, we separated, or we tried to separate the compliance function from the operation, or at least to a certain way, and that in the land-based and in the online, just because that got so complicated, way more than it was before, and we felt it helps the business side, but also the compliance side, if that is more separated, and both parties can concentrate really on their already very complex area. And the last point, also something I have mentioned before, technology partner doesn't even only need to support your strategy, he's really your most important partner at the end, and there will be problems every week, every month. Doesn't matter which platform you have. In Switzerland, we have a couple of platform providers. There are problems. The regulator finds out new things, did not mean things the way he specified it before, because he learned. You will learn, so you really need to have a very flexible and committed partner who also has the time and resources to support you on that journey. And that was it in a very, very short manner, the last year or so, and we are ready for questions.
Really insightful, Marcel. I just Googled, so 250 Swiss francs, that's 232 euros CPA. That's quite impressive.
Yes.
That's quite
and
impressive.
It will get more expensive. It's just the start, so CPA will increase over time.
As long as it's worth it, I guess. Marcel, a couple of questions here. Based on your experience, do you have advice for Dutch land-based operators who want to become successful online? Do's and don'ts.
Create a culture of trying, failing, measuring it, learning. That's it. It's really, it must be a culture where you really fight every day to learn more and to get better. You can measure a lot of things. If you want to survive in online gaming, you need to do that because other people will. And this is super important, and again, it requires, in many companies, it did a different mindset than you had with the land-based operation.
Great. Thank you, Marcel. And again, keep the questions coming. We still have a couple of minutes left, so either here in the room or online.
I like that one. I like that question.
The second question, yeah, we're not going to skip it. So do you think that online customers can be enticed to visit your physical establishments? And do you expect this to be an important customer acquisition channel?
So, as I said, we really believed in the cross-selling. Without COVID, obviously when we were shut down, we had no GGR in the land-based operation. But since we started with online gaming, after the second month, every month, we had 10% more GGR than previous year. Obviously, that has a couple of different reasons. One is the generic marketing that was done, but one point, and that we always believed very strongly, is people are less afraid to play online. And if you ask your friends, why are you not going to a casino? My friends always say, I have no clue how to play slot machine or roulette, and they will be able to try those games, and they will have more courage to go to your operation. That's why poker exists, right? I mean, we wouldn't have poker at the casinos if there wouldn't be online poker. I believe that is a chance for all casino games. And we have our VIP program, and one of the KPIs of our VIPs is that many new customers to bring to our property in Baden, and that's extremely successful. We have so many people, I have met so many customers that they have said, I have never been to a casino in my life, I only have played online, and I love it, and I will be back next week.
Great.
So yes.
Great, that's really interesting. Marcel, last question. Why a dual brand strategy? What's the difference
So
between the brands?
in Switzerland, we have the situation you need to have a land-based license to have an online casino. So the maximum of online casinos there will be ever in Switzerland is 21, because we have 21 land-based casinos. If you know that a player has in average 7 active accounts and you have a churn rate of approximately 40%, a player is moving around a lot. Whatever you do in retention, he still will be moving. So having 2 brands, we believe the chance is, or it's better to capture more market share. On the second reason was risk management. We decided for the casino in Baden to do everything ourselves. This is the high risk bet, especially also since we chose to invest in a technology provider. And for the Casino Davos, we searched for a partner that has experience in the B2C area of online gaming, where we can learn and where we are sure that this will work properly. That was the reason for the dual brand strategy.
Risk management, great, as part of your brand strategy. Marcel, if there's no more questions from the room here, last question, physically. I would like to thank you for coming last minute to Holland. Thank you for flying in 2 hours ago, and have a great trip back. Thank you, Marcel.
Thanks, everyone.